Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is July the 31st, last day of July. Only one game in the W for today, so it'll be a pretty quick show. I got a couple of things I'm looking at, nothing that I pulled the trigger on officially, but I think it's some ways to get paid tonight in the game between the Mystics and the Valkyries. So let's jump into a big card tomorrow. A lot of games tomorrow. Line's already out as well, so make sure you guys are doing your homework early. I'll try to send out a couple plays. I didn't play anything yesterday. Just jumping into a quick recap. I didn't play anything yesterday. Would have made a lot of money yesterday had I played the things that was on the list, but neither here nor there. Yesterday, if you go back and look at the recap section, which I hadn't even done, but everything cashed. Rike under her points, Aaliyah Boston over her rebounds, everything else that we talked about. I couldn't remember what else was on the short list, but it was a good day yesterday. Hopefully you guys made some money as well. What's up, Calvin? Appreciate you for tapping in. Adrina says, good morning, Chris. Went 2-0 to W last night. She cashed on Clear Copper over her 1.5 threes. We talked about that. Plus 100 in Minnesota team total over 87.5. Love to see that. Quan, what's going on? Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB says, yo, what up, Chris in chat? Work has been crazy busy, but finally able to make a show. Appreciate that, GLB. Hopefully you got some systems or something to share. I looked at a couple in this game. Let's jump into it, man. So no recap. Like I said, I didn't play anything yesterday. Didn't send anything out to the members. Hopefully you guys made some money. As far as Jackson is an AI sports betting tool for people that are new, and you can use it for pretty much every sport that you can think of in any way that you can think of it as well. Player prop size, totals, team totals, overs, unders, just for opinions in general, whatever the case it is that you're looking for. Yesterday, Jackson gave out 2 plays. Paige Beckers over her 16.5 points was a winner. And Courtney Williams under her 1.5 threes. She finished with just 1. So Jackson went 2-0 yesterday. Jackson's actually been kind of cooking. I think that's 4-0 in the last 4 plays for Jackson. 4-0 in the last 4 plays if you've been tailing Jackson. So as far as today's prompt, I kind of wanted to keep it the same because, why switch up a good thing that's working, right? And the first one is actually one of the player props that I like. So I really like this one. And then and it's 2 unders. So we'll start with the first one. This is the one I like. It's Kiki Iriafen of the Washington Mystics over her 7.5 boards for today. It says the analysis says that Kiki has been the dominant force on the boards, consistently hit the over on her rebound prop, and the circumstances surrounding this game, tonight's game, further boast this pick. So you talk about her consistent performance first. Iriafen has been a rebounding machine, hitting the over 80% of her last 5 games, 70% of her last 10 games. Her season-long hit rate over stands at 65.38%. So she cashes this more times than not. Her average rebounds as well are well above the line of 7.5 with 8.6 in her last 5 games, 8 in her last 10 games, and 8.5 for the season. Head-to-head dominance in the single matchup against the Valkyries earlier this season. She recorded an impressive 12 rebounds, hitting over 100% of the time against this opponent. News and narrative: Golden State Valkyries recently suffered a significant blow to All-Star guard Kayla Thornton, sustaining the season-ending knee injury. Thornton was the leading scorer and rebounder. This creates a void for Golden State's rebounding efforts, which could translate to increased opportunities for Washington Mystics player like Kiki Iriafen to secure more rebounds. With the Valkyries' defense against her position ranks 5th, indicating a strong defensive unit. Iriafen's consistent individual performance and the opponent's recent injury woes make this an attractive overplay. So over for Kiki Iriafen over her board. I love that play. And then I also was looking at this one, Shakira Austin under her 14.5 points. So analysis is this: despite her potential to score, Shakira Austin's recent trend in a challenging matchup against the Golden State Valkyries points towards the under for her points prop. Say that 5 times fast. Shakira Austin has gone under this line in 40% of her last 5 games, 40% of her last 10 games. More importantly, her season-long hit rate under is a strong 60.87%, indicating a consistent tendency to stay below the mark. Her average points for the season are 12.7, which is below the 14.5 line. Head-to-head struggles in their only matchup during the season. She scored just 2 points against the Valkyries, hitting the under 100% of the time against a specific opponent. This historical performance is a significant indicator. Defensive matchup: the Golden State Valkyries defense against her position ranks 2nd in the league, signifying an exceptionally strong defensive unit. This tough matchup makes it difficult for opposing players to rack up points, further supporting the underpick for Shakira Austin. While she is projected, to be a strong candidate for the first basket, which I didn't even know that doesn't necessarily translate to a high scoring output throughout the entire game, especially against such a formidable defense. So take Shakira Austin under 14.5 points, take Kiki Iriafen over 7.5 boards. Those are the two looks for Jackson today. As always, check out the link in the description if you guys are interested in Jackson. Let's get through this one quick game, man. Make it a super quick show. And then I got a lot of stuff to do today. And I also need to get into the games for tomorrow because I haven't quite done my homework yet. All right, so jumping into the matchup, we first start with the injury report. The Golden State Valkyries will be without Monique Billings. She had missed a couple games, I think, in a row, at least one game. She came back in the game against the Atlanta Dream, and she only played 9 minutes, and then she didn't play the rest of the game. She is listed as out in this game. They also have Xander Sealy listed as questionable. I think it's a foot injury for her. I could be wrong, but I know she's listed as questionable, and that's big for Golden State. Xander Sealy hit the game winner. She also got the game winner still on Bree Jones in that game against the Atlanta Dream as well, just a couple nights ago when they had, the lime green objects being thrown on the floor. So those two injuries, we know Kayla Thornton is already out. She won't return the rest of the season. I mean, it puts Golden State in a very, very bad predicament here. When I watch the Mystics side of things, Aaliyah Edwards will continue to miss with a wrist injury. I think it'll be her third straight game she's missed. And that's one of the reasons why I don't really like Shakira Austin under her points prop. I'm not opposed to taking it, but I think between Kiki Iriafen and Shakira Austin, they're going to get more minutes, right? Big Mama Steph is going to get a couple more minutes as well. But they may need to lean on Shakira Austin a little bit more. I still like the under, but don't let me talk you off. I just think that, given her minutes, which she's been north of 25 in the last few games, we can continue to kind of see that if they're down a player in the front court. So, all right, we start looking at the situational spots, or at least I start looking at the situational spots. We're looking at a Valkyries team that just beat Atlanta outright as 8.5-point dogs in Atlanta, but that was after coming off a 31-point loss to the Connecticut Sun on Sunday with the spot that I had them in. This is their third straight. This will be their third game of a 5-game road trip. They play 7 of their last 9 games on the road as well if we go back before the All-Star break, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back. They got a game in Chicago tomorrow against the Sky. For the Washington Mystics side of things, this will be the last game of a 5-game homestand. They've alternated wins and losses in their last 4 games, and most recently they beat Chicago by 17 as a 7.5-point favorite just 2 nights ago as well. They also have a little bit more rest after the game. They don't play again until Wednesday when they travel to Atlanta to take on the Dream. And, of course, this is the second matchup between the two teams. The first matchup was actually the second matchup of the Valkyries' history. Golden State did win that game by 2 as a 5-point favorite in Golden State back on May the 21st. I think it's a 5-point dog. I'm sorry. I think I said favorite. Back on May the 21st. That game did stay under 162.5. You can see that this line, of course, has changed. I didn't even update this. I forgot to update it. The Golden State Valkyries, this line opened at 2.5 yesterday. That's what I have here. This line is actually up to 4 now. So let me change that real quick. And the total has actually come all the way down to 150. I think it's 153.5 is the consensus. There's a 154, I think, out there on the board, though, if you guys are looking towards the under. So in that game that they played, we got to take it for what it's worth, right? Because some of the rotations have changed slightly. Shakira Austin only played 10 minutes in that game. She was coming off the bench at that time. Brittany Sykes had 30 in that game. I already talked about what Kiki Iriafen did. She had 10 points and 12 rebounds and an impressive in Golden State. Like, that's pretty impressive. And Veronica Burton, who's been pretty inconsistent as of late, she had a big game. I think she had 4 or 5 threes. She had 22 points. Kayla Thornton, like I said, who will miss this game, also had 18 points and 5 rebounds. So I look at the situational spot for the Valkyries, and it's not an advantageous one at all. You got a win coming up. You coming off a win as a dog, typically not a great spot. Typically teams, don't perform well back to back in those spots. But also it's first game of a back to back. And like I said, you got Chicago Sky tomorrow. The Mystics have been at the crib, like I said, for 5. I think this is 5 straight games for them. I just don't like laying points with I don't really like laying points with the Washington Mystics. I think if I was going to play the game from a side perspective, maybe I would look towards the Valkyries early. We know that they typically cover early. They're 7-2-2, I think, against the spread. Maybe 8-2-2 against the spread as a road dog this season. So you get in and get out with the Valkyries if I was playing the side. I really don't know what to do with the game from a full game perspective, because I know that the Valkyries can absolutely run out of gas. That's what they typically do. So I'll stay away from the side. If I played anything on the side, it'd be Valkyries first half, thinking that they can, get the job done early. There's also a lot of trends. If you guys go into Moneyballer, you can see a lot of the trends that do support the Valkyries in this spot early, and also a fader to watch the misses. I think there's something like 4-1, 1-4, I think, against the spread in the first half if they're laying points as a home favorite. So that supports the Valkyries. As far as the total in the game, the more I looked into it, the more I do think that it goes under. The problem is, and this is where one of the reasons why I didn't play the games yesterday, is because I'm getting the worst of the numbers already. I didn't see that this opened at 158.5, but that's what, when I went back to check, it did open at 158.5. It's down 5 points, and it makes a lot of sense. If the Valkyries could potentially be without Xander Stilly, who's listed as questionable, I mean, it's going to make it a lot difficult for them to be able to score the basketball, especially consistently. The Valkyries are a team that shoots a bunch of threes. They take more than any team in the WNBA. The Mystics are not the greatest three-point defense, but the Valkyries shoot the worst percentage from the three-point line. So it's not like they're out here, like lighting it up. They're not the Golden State Warriors at all. They're the Golden State Valkyries. So I do lean a little bit more towards the under. The problem is, like I said, I'm getting 5 points lower than what the total opened at, and this is a pretty low total. Golden State are they're 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games, including 4 of their last 5 have stayed under the total. The dead last in pace, worst in efficiency in the W over their last 5 games. Perfect recipe for under. The weakness of this Washington's defense is the points that they allow in the paint over their last 5 games. They're giving up a league high 43 points in the paint. And the Golden State scores the fewest points in the paint because, like I said, all they want to do is shoot threes. So I would lean towards the under, maybe even the first half under, but it's not a game that I feel super strong or confident about. So I started to look towards player props, and just stay with me. I'm just giving you guys my thought process and how I kind of think through the games, because I always go side and total first, and then I start looking towards player props. So I'm looking towards player props, and I will transition over just really, really quickly to Outlier. And for people who are new to the show, there's a link in the description if you guys want to check out Outlier. This is 7-day free trial link in the description. The first player I want to look at is I wanted to look at Kiki Iriafen. I talked about this already because I didn't know Jackson was going to like it as well. But over her 17.5 rebounds, 7.5 rebounds. So even if we just go back here, this stuff here tells you, opponent rebound rank. You can see that Golden State gives up the third most rebounds. They're 11th in rebounding. Kiki Iriafen over in 80% of her last 5 games. So that's 4 for 5. She's over in 70% of her last 10 games. That's 7 for 10. Head-to-head matchup, you see the 100% right here as well. So in the only game that she played. And it's not a lot to say here with Kiki Iriafen as far as her being able to grab boards, right? Not only in 3 straight games, but over in 7 of her last 8 games. And 11, 10, and 10. She's putting up double numbers here. I also think about the way that the Valkyries like to shoot a bunch of threes and they don't make them. So that's more rebounding opportunities for Kiki Iriafen as well. We also can go here. We can just, I would like to start with looking at her minutes. You can see that they've been pretty consistent, 23 or more in every single game over the last 8. And then the other thing that I would look at is games without Aaliyah Edwards, because I would assume that she would get a few more minutes, right? So we go in here, we take Aaliyah Edwards out. You can see, boom, she's averaging north of 10.5 rebounds, right? She's over in every single game except one. And this game came against Atlanta, first game of the season. Kiki Iriafen over her boards. Hopefully this is helpful for you guys. 7.5 is the number. She should get it based on what we're seeing here. No Aaliyah Edwards. Boom, there you go. The other player prop that I was looking at was, what else was I looking at? I was looking at one more. I want to get to it real quick. Oh, I know what it was. It was Tiffany Hayes over her 3-point prop. So we go back out here. We take Kiki Iriafen off. We go to Tiffany. And I just mentioned that this team loves to shoot a bunch of threes. They're a 3-point happy team. Tiffany Hayes is right in that camp as well, right? You can see her 3-point makes are here. So she's over in 7 of her last 10 games. She did have a game against Connecticut where they got absolutely smoked. She hit 0, but she bounced back against Atlanta, hit 3. Atlanta's one of the better 3-point defenses in the WNBA. You can see that Washington, not so much. They are 6th ranked as far as 3 points allowed. Against the guard position, same thing. But one thing I looked at was I wanted to see her value, right? So you can also see down here she's shooting 53% from 3. That's great. Like that's NBA type numbers. Even better. Like you're shooting 53%, you top 5 in the league. So I do think Tiffany Hayes is in a pretty good spot. I come down here, I look at her, 3-point attempts. You can see most of these 6, 6, 5, 7, 5, 4, 4, 5. The 2 games that she, didn't get up a lot. She only had 1 and 2. But you can see about 4 or 5 3-point attempts. It looked like 4.5 is the number here. So when I look at games this season where she has taken at least, 4. I think I looked at games. I'm expecting them to shoot a bunch of threes, like they always do, and I think she'll be at the head of that. So when I'm looking at games this season where she's taken at least, I think I looked at five threes. So if we just look at 4, let's just take 4 because 4 would be the mean, right? If we look at games where she's taken at least 4 threes or more, she's over in 11 of her 13 games. She averages closer to 2.5 3-point makes rather than one. So I like Tiffany Hayes over her 1.5 threes. This is something that she could get before halftime. And then again, like I said, Kiki Iriafen over her 7.5 boards. These were the ways that I wanted to play the game. Those are the things that I feel most confident in. Going back to the under, I think I said under, right? Yeah, going back to the under real quick. Let's just go back. I think I gave you guys some seasonal stuff as far as why I like the under between these 2 teams. But outside of that, I looked at let me see if I can pull it back up. All right, so I looked at teams who won as a dog on the road, and then they're a road dog again. Those games typically go under about 53% of the time, which is not a super high hit rate. This season, 59% of the time they've gone under. And it's something about if you're unrested in the next game, right? So if it's the first leg of a back-to-back, those games go under 70% of the time. And I could honestly just see these teams both teams struggling to score. Washington coming off a big game where they scored 100 plus points against the Chicago Sky, one of the worst defenses in the W. Now, maybe Golden State comes in here, plays a little defense. The Washington team total is 79.5. I think that goes under. I don't know if they need to get to 80 points to beat this Valkyrie team. And the Valkyries are listed at 75.5. And I already gave you guys the efficiency number. So I like under. I like Kiki Iriafen. I like over her boards, and I like Tiffany Hayes to go over her 3-point prop. That's what I'm looking at in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and then we will jump off of here. What up, Hot TV Grizz? Appreciate you for tapping in. GLB says Mystics fourth quarter -0.5 point. Rest at home favorites who just won and covered as a home favorite are 20-3 in the fourth quarter. And this can make a little bit of sense, GLB, in my opinion, because Natalie Nakase, the coach of the Valkyries, could potentially pull her starters. If this game gets out of hand late, especially with them having a game against Chicago. I think the other thing to mention, I failed to mention this, but the other thing to mention is this is a really big playoff implication type game. If you guys are not keeping up, with the overall landscape of the WNBA, the Valkyries are currently in 9th place, and the Mystics are in 8th place. It's just about a month left in the regular season. And if you don't know, top 8 teams, no matter which conference they play in, do make the playoffs. So it's a very, very big game as far as playoff implication wise. Valkyries have a chance to inch a little bit closer and potentially take over this 8th spot from the Mystics. So we shall see how it goes today. But I think that this makes a lot of sense, GLB. Let's see. What up, Marquise? Is definitely an under game for me. Had a coworker cash on Angel Reese Cardoso, 20 points, 10 rebounds game as a live bet in the first quarter last game. I like it. Tony says coming off that big game for Kiki Iriafen, usually a good spot to fade. Shakira wasn't starting back then in the earlier matchup. The version, I said that already as well. That's why I wouldn't play it. I agree with you there. But I think Kiki Iriafen can keep it going. We saw the rebound numbers there. Jamel says, top of the morning, ended up taking Veronica Burton under 14.5 points and assists. She's under in both games without Monique Billings and Kayla Thornton. So thinking her assists continue to go down. Good bounce back spot for Salon. I was thinking about Salon. I think somebody got to score the basketball. The reason why is not just a nice bounce back spot, but also because she's under in back-to-back games. Xander Sealy's not there. Who's scoring the ball? Like, bruh, like they don't got but so many scores on the Valkyries. Like, so yeah, I agree. I think under Jorge would be the way that I would look at this one. Steph says, what under player props would you take? I like this Shakira Austin look a little bit towards her under. But it's not a lot of, I guess I should probably like more unders, but I didn't find a lot of unders that I liked when I was doing my research. What up, Jose? He says Valkyries today. I think that it can cover, but I think you're getting the worst of the number, which is why I haven't played it. That's my thought process. Hot TV Grid says, very light day today, Chris. Keep pushing. Here for the long haul. Absolutely. We gotta be here for the long haul, man. So gave you guys the breakdown. Again, the plays are here that I like. If you join late, you can go back in, listen to the reason why I like them. But if I'm betting, this is what I'm betting. If I bet anything, I'll send it out to the members. Use the link in the description as always to check out the plays that I make that are official. Use the link in the descriptions. Use the links in the description to check out all of the resources that I talked about using throughout the show. They're all listed here. All referral codes and promo codes to save yourself some coin in the description of the video as well, man. Hit the like button for me on the way out. Subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, all that good stuff. Big day tomorrow, like I said, in the WNBA. I'm gonna go ahead and get ahead for those games and probably send out some plays before the lines start to move too much today. Enjoy your Thursday, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.